Yeah. Boom to the hay, all you sports fans out there in the tubosphere. To you, the individual, as part of the collective. Welcome to another episode of Talk Radio version Sports Rack Fast Track, or vice versa. Highlights here on the OMSR. I am, as always, your brief but very concise host, Will, the alternative ESPN Sports Thrill. Always do a little voiceover intro short like this. Let you know the clipboard coming up. And the last two wherefores. Therefore, briefly and concisely. Day 2, SEC Media Days, and the Steve Spurrier Experience. Although, kind of more tame, getting tamer as the years go by, more mellowed with age, like Glenn Livett, 30-year reserve. I don't think there's really much you could read into his comments on the Quickie Sport Rant of the segment, and then we'll dive into it. Guys, we're trying to maybe suggest, well, because South Carolina has arrived, he could say passive-aggressive this or a little subtle dig that. I don't think he's doing any of it this particular day. Showing some of the better sound bites coming up. But yeah, South Carolina, positioning-wise and timing-wise this year, could be their year. Because they still haven't gotten to that SEC championship game. Or, if I'm wrong about that, and during Spurrier's tenure, that one time that they didn't win it. All the video highlights courtesy to the SEC and ESPN, everything else, to the OMSR. Okay, thanks for watching. No silly DUIs while you're out there. Roll clips.
Another day at SEC Media Days here at the Winfrey Hotel, the Hyatt Regency in Hoover, Alabama. But not just any day. Oh no, this is the day we always wait for. For this is the day that the HBC arrives in style. The head ball coach, one Steve Spurrier, the undisputed champion of all time of SEC Media Days. Sunglasses and all, entourage in tow, and ready to take to the podium as we say hello and welcome to College Football Live. Joe Tessitore alongside Danny Cannell, Jesse Palmer, and the rookie, day 2 of ESPN employment.
Make him sing. Make him sing.
You got the iPad working. You enjoy the Twitter on that when it comes to
every once in a while. Yeah, on occasion. I've gotten really good at going quickly and typing on it, so I'm steadily improving.
Glad to have you along. This is always a day of great Twitter buzz, Jess, because the media boys come out to hear.
Media boys.
The media boys come out to hear Spurrier, all 1,300 credentialed. And the hit list, you got to take notes on the hit list because it included Kevin Sumlin, he took a shot at today. Texas A&M as a trophy game. Clemson not as important as winning the
Shocker.
SEC. South Carolina donors. And oh, he poked the bear a little bit with one Nick Saban. Here's what Spurrier offered up.
I'm actually from Tennessee, and I always was taught the hero of the Alamo was Davy Crockett. So this was a new one on me, Bonham. So it's a good story, and I'm sure he did some good things. But I always thought Davy Crockett was the hero of the Alamo. He and those 33 Tennessee guys that came in there and got killed and so forth. I don't know that you can have a trophy for every game. I know up in the Big Ten, they have a bunch of them, several of them. But if they want to do it, that's fine. I just don't know how many games you're going to have a trophy for as you go through the season. Oh, I think they've done extremely well. There's no question about that. I just made a statement that I think they've had 5 #1 recruiting classes out of the last 6 years, which has got to make him the greatest recruiter in the history of college football. And arguably, they've got the greatest collection of football players ever assembled for a college team. So they're the favorites. They're the favorites. There's no question about that. And as long as they can recruit like that, they're always going to be the favorites. I guess, fortunately, sometimes the team that plays the best is the team that wins, instead of maybe who's all got the best players.
He's TV gold, you realize.
Yes, he is.
Legendary.
I mean, truly.
Television.
The guy's referencing Davy Crockett at SEC Media Days when talking about the crossover of Texas A&M as the permanent rival and the fact that he's got to play them every year and that it's been declared a trophy game. That he didn't realize there was a trophy that attaches to Texas A&M, South Carolina.
I love it. I think it's refreshing. I mean, so many times we listen to these football coaches and they don't give you anything. I mean, it's dull, it's bland. They're going to give you these rote statements that just kind of cliched football speak. And when you hear Coach Spurrier talk, he's going to speak from the heart. He's kind of off the cuff. And you know what? He's built something special there in South Carolina. 11-win seasons in a row. They're in contention seemingly every year in the SEC East. They're a powerhouse in the SEC now, and he's a big reason why.
All right, I want everybody's take on the one thing that everybody's talking about, and that is the little shot at Nick Saban in there, because he called him a few times. He said he's the greatest recruiter in the history of college football. He has the greatest collection of talent. He didn't use the word greatest coach in there. A lot of people reading into that.
When I look at this, what it really means is that South Carolina's arrived, and they're a very good team, and Steve Spurrier believes in. You look historically, when Steve Spurrier's coached good teams, he takes shots at other head coaches. Did it at Florida against Phil Fulmer, Bobby Bowden, Free Shoes University to my right over here. He's done it here at South Carolina against Mark Rick at Georgia. More recently, a couple times against Nick Saban in Alabama. But as you mentioned, when you've had 3 straight years of 11 and more wins, 3 straight years you're a top 10 team. They finished 4th in the country last year. That's what he gets thrown in there. I just wish Steve Spurrier's SEC Media Day conference could be in primetime TV.
Yeah.
So everybody could watch it. That 7 and 8 p.m. Eastern window.
I agree with you, Danny. It is so refreshing to see someone that's willing to get up there, throw a little humor into it, have fun with it. And he's been going after Nick Saban for years. And quite frankly, he has the bragging rights. The last time he played him, he beat him 35-21 there in Columbia. So he mentioned how he was working way too hard, how he didn't have to put in 11-hour days at work, and how he likes to work smart. And he said he adopted that thought from John Wooden. So to each his own. I think it's hysterical. I absolutely enjoyed his conference today.
I need to figure out a way to work smart on the golf course the way he does, because he does it better than anybody. But, you know, in reference to the guards with the Saban comments, I don't think it was that big a deal. I think he's gone way worse and poked a little bit harder and prodded guys way worse than that. I think it was a compliment to Nick Saban. I think he was simply stating the fact, saying, look, they have always recruited. They always have the best talent. I don't think he was taking anything away from Saban. But if you want to say he was poking the bear, it's easy to poke the bear when you don't have to play them that year. They're not on the schedule.
Let's talk about what he has on the field this year. This is a South Carolina team that has been ascendant in recent years. They've been growing into a power. They still don't have that SEC championship that they desire, but considering where he's got them and what the program was, it's been exceptional work. Dylan Thompson now in quarterback instead of Connor Shaw, and of course the concerns on defense without Clowney and others.
A lot of people talking about replacing Connor Shaw, the winningest quarterback in South Carolina history. To me, guys, the biggest question mark is on defense, and that's ironic. Defense has been a staple for Steve Spurrier, coached South Carolina teams throughout his entire tenure. Yes, you lose Jadeveon Clowney, the #1 pick in the NFL, but you also lose Kelsey Quarles at D-tackle early to the NFL. You lose Chaz Sutton at defensive end. You lose both your starting cornerbacks. All of a sudden, there are no proven pass rushers on this defense. The strength now is that linebacker led by Sky Moore, and I think that's why defensive coordinator Lorenzo Ward is flirting with the idea of leaving a traditional 4-3 defense, moving to a 3-4 to get those linebackers on the field. And as we all know, in the SEC, if you're going to win, you got to play great D, and that's a brutal schedule. Defense, the biggest question mark in Columbia.
And it's kind of ironic because when you think of Steve Spurrier, you think of offense. But one of the reasons they've had this success, this run, is because of the defensive side of the ball. But I have a lot of faith in Dylan Thompson that he's going to be able to pick up where Connor Shaw left off. He's got meaningful playing time. He's played a lot, 14 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions. Steve Spurrier has always developed quarterbacks. Yeah, you might have to keep your head on a swivel. You don't know when you're going to get benched, but he finds a way to put up points. And then Mike Davis in the backfield, running behind an offensive line that's got 4 out of 5 guys back. This offense should be able to carry them while the defense kind of figures out maybe a new scheme. While there's some youth there, they'll get used to it.